This video is going to look at how you might take a design like this one that you make in Codeblocks and then export it so that you can use a paper cutter like the Cricut or the Silhouette to uh, cut it in heat transfer vinyl and then iron it onto a t-shirt or another garment. So here are some examples of some different designs that I've done. This last design, not only did I apply it to a t-shirt, but I also laser cut it in cardboard and I also 3D printed it. For more on using Codeblocks, you can see a couple of videos that I've made and also a web page of resources. So here's Codeblocks creating the design. I create the first one and then I duplicate it and reposition it and then I make kind of an S shape. And I'll need to export it as a part. Right now, Codeblocks does not allow you to export as an SVG, so kind of a workaround is to export it as a part, and from there, what that does is it makes it available for you in your standard Tinkercad. So navigate back to standard Tinkercad once you've exported it as a part. Then you can open a new design in standard Tinkercad. And if you use the drop-down menu on the right, near the bottom you'll find Part Collection. And your Codeblocks design is now available there. So I'm going to drag it out. And you want to make sure that when you export as an SVG, you want to make sure that it's actually in the work plane, and I'm going to make it a bit taller here to make that easier, and so I can drop it right into the middle of the work plane. Now when I go to export in standard Tinkercad, it's going to pick up everything that's in the work plane. So I'll go to export and then I'll select SVG for scalable vector graphic. Okay, now that I have my design in SVG format, I'm going to go to my Cricut design space and find my SVG to upload. And on this screen, I'm going to do two things. One is that I'm going to size my design. I want it to be about 13-14 centimeters. So I'm going to size that. And also, because I want it to print like this in an S shape, I'm going to flip it so that it will flip it horizontally so that it will reverse when cutting, and then it will iron on correctly. So I flipped it. Now on this screen is where I can place the design on my cutting mat, and if I want to cut it here in the corner, then I'm ready to go. Okay, here you can see I positioned just a bit more of the heat transfer vinyl than I'll need on my mat. I don't want to put a whole sheet down because then I'll cut it out and it'll be maybe tough to use the rest of it. Here is the design that's been cut out and weeded. So weeding is taking a tool like that and removing the excess material. You're weeding from the side that is going to be ironed on, so it'll look reversed. Here's the design positioned on the t-shirt, and you can see the Cricut cutter in the background there. Be sure to use the correct depth setting for your cutter for heat transfer vinyl. And then I have here, this is a really pretty industrial heat press, which works great. It's not necessary though. You can use, there are sort of handheld heat presses that are available, and then just a standard iron. If you use a normal iron, be sure to use a high temperature setting and be sure not to steam it accidentally. And you typically want to put a lot of pressure on the iron, so have it on a surface where you can really push down pretty hard. and then follow the manufacturer's guidelines for the heat transfer vinyl in terms of temperature and how long to apply the heat and so forth. And here's the finished product. So please see my website for more resources, robmorrill.com/codeblocks.